Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do top 10 issue number 3 from America's best comics by Alan Moore and Gene Hahn and Zander, Cannon, and Todd Klein. Let's dive in. All right. So this is, let's skip this part because I believe this is called Micromate or something like that. And she's investigating the death of a prostitute in the last issue because there's a murder on the loose called Libra, and they want to know they are doing some investigations here, right? And so we have, I believe this is called Peregrine, and she's, an intangible woman. That's not her name, but, she's more like a ghostly woman. Anyway, Micromate, right? So they are doing this investigation, right? And we go to some kind of a ruckus. So we have, I just forgot her name. What? I don't know. Toy Box, I believe. No, it's not Toy Box. Well, her name is Robin, and Robin is apprehending this woman in the last issue, right? And this walking nuclear bomb is trying to, hold her. And we have a lieutenant, I believe this is a lieutenant or a detective. And so this woman says, why don't I just blow her feet off? No more artilleries indoors. Young lady, let's have no more of this nonsense. My whole frame's robotic, and I guarantee you, I kick your butt harder than you can kick mine. Hey, you look just like the dog I had. Anyway, so he says... So he says, incidentally, your feet would stink if I didn't have an enhanced smell, because he wants to take off these, as he called it, cyber stompers. I don't take my boots off much, I guess. And then Lee says, yeah, just to make sure he doesn't get you taking anything else off. Hey, Lee, that's out of line. Seriously, we need to talk. Maybe out by the lockers in 15. So, yeah, in the last issue, she clocked his snout, I guess, because she's angry, but I don't know why. Well, I do know now, but I'm going to tell you a little bit later. So she says, okay, well, whatever. And so the detective says, hey, what is that all about, right? So Robin says, I don't know. It started up at lunch. Lee just got up and hit the Sarge for no reason. Listen, can you handle Wesson? I ought to tell that cabbie who helped us find her that he's off the hook. So the cabbie that she is talking about is that blind guy, right? That is driving around while blind and causes a lot of problems. And he helped her find, this woman. Because he has Zen senses or something. Zen, the universe is telling him where to go. It's all fun. And so they are putting her, I don't know, behind bars or for interrogation, right? So she's here, and then this King Peacock comes in. It's probably the good cop, bad cop, and he says, I heard of him. Is he going to sacrifice me to the devil? Nah, unless he really likes you. So the dog says, can I go? Hey, I want the dog to stick around. And he says, well, I see you back later, right? That's not fair. I thought the dog would be here. You see Sergeant Caesar later. Listen, Martha, do you know why you're here? Yeah, because of Steph, ain't it? Steph got killed. Yeah, so Stefan Saddles Kraskic died, and he was her partner, right? And she says, well, I don't know anything. And we did some stuff like hydrine and goose juice. I don't know, some kind of a mongoose blue drinking drug, I guess, right? And so it sees that Professor Gromolko, that's probably her dealer, she's afraid of him, and she says, well, he committed suicide. He did what? Yeah, so I believe was it in the first issue? Yeah, in the first issue, he blew his brains out because something. And there's a whole story behind it. So check out my reviews. You know what's going on then. The writing is really sharp. I have to shift gears here and there to know what's going on, because there's a lot of things going on happen at the same time. So he says, yeah, he committed suicide. Do you know why he did that? So she says, I want to talk to my lawyer. So yeah, they cannot do anything anymore. So her lawyer is Matvek, Fishman, and Goebbels. So, and that was also the same lawyer that Gromolko had, who blew his brains out. Then we go to, I don't know, somewhere else, and we have power rings on things in this neighborhood. So this monkey opens up because I believe this is called Devil Duster or something, and we have something Pete, electronic Pete or something. And he's a little bit. There's something wrong with him. So this, and it seems that the person that they need to get is a cosmonaut, astroman. He's Russian, and he can look into people's minds, and he talks in telepathically. I mean, but then outside of people's heads instead of inside, and it's very loud, right? So, but he's also a drunk, and so hey, I need you to come to with us with the precinct because we have a new suspect, and you need to interrogate her, right? And then obviously this picture of this, monkey, right? Said, hey, so you want me to drive her to suicide like they did Gromolko? Don't mention Gromolko, man. I still feel bad about that. So what happened to the Dust Devil? So he stands next to Gromolko, and then the Gromolko grabbed his gun and blew his brains out. That's why he's feeling so guilty. Now, and then this Jimmy Olsen-looking type of superhero, Pete something, is very mad because also in the last issue, Smacks, who is working with the blonde girl called Robin, and they put some individual in prison, and they have some problems with that. So they are using vandalism to paint a car, right? And he says, locking up Ernesto, you are goddamn pigs. Yeah, your cloak bacon pal Smacks put him away. You pigs shouldn't have done that. It's gonna be trouble, right? And then Cosmic Man, Astronaut Man is using her power. So, and hey, I drank a lot of vodka. I don't need this. Okay, and everybody is knocked out. So they're driving away, right? And then there's some ruckus, and they almost got hit by. Oh, it's the blind guy again, called Bob Blindshot Booker. He's driving away. Oh man, this guy is coming back into these comics. I'm pretty sure. So, Robin's called Slinger, right? He's Asmac's partner, or Smacks. I'm just calling him Smacks, right? Meanwhile, the dog here says, "Hey, Lee. Well, have you got something to say, or did you just want to ogle me some more? Hey, Lee, this is because you found I was colorblind, right? Which means that you, of all of the males at the station, can see my costume, right? Yeah, I know you're naked. There you go. You knew I was controlling the pigments of my synthetic skin to be up here clothed. You just didn't tell me." So he says, "Let me ask you something. I'm sure you've seen a lot of naked dogs. Did you ogle them?" She says, "What? Of course you didn't. That's what I'm saying. I'm a dog, Lee. Your naked body, no offense, means as little to me as a dog's would to you." And she says, "You mean?" I'm only attracted to dogs. In fact, I don't tell anyone, but I'm dating a hot borzoi at the moment. Oh, Sarge, why didn't you say that? There's more to the story a little bit later. And so it's all fine and dandy, right? And he says, "Hey, can you keep this on the wraps? Don't tell anybody, right?" And she says, yeah. And so Dust guy here says, or Dust Devil says, "Hey, we dug up Alexi. And come on, they're interviewing the Western girl in the room 4. So Pete is saying, "Hey, I got to see Detective Peregrine. I catch you later." So, and Robin says, "Hey, has anybody seen Smacks?" Right? And so there's something wrong with this guy. Now, what I like about this, there is a lot. Okay, first let's handle this. So Dust Devil guy is, ogling this piece of tech because the Saddles guy has been killed, right? And in the first issue, also probably the suspect is the guy that killed prostitutes, but I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, since he's also a cowboy, he wants that, but that's probably a little bit for later. So Smacks here is talking shit to this guy, and he says, "Because I'm a Saurian, ain't I? Worse than that, I ain't Uncle Gojira, who's gonna be dumb enough to fight no smart monsters for ya." So yeah, he's the nephew of Gojira, that probably Godzilla, I guess, or this version of Godzilla. And they put him behind jail because of of the shit that he done in the last issue, right? So Smacks is giving him a hard time, right? And so Robin comes in. He says, "Hey Jeff, can I have a word?" And Ernesto, he says, "My dad was right about you cops. You all a bunch of goddamn speciesists." Ernesto, "That's just not true. Now why don't you cling to the ceiling and lick some flies for a while? I'll be right back." "Okay, what did you want me to see about?" "Well, it's about Gojira." So this guy, right? "I was talking about to Dust Devil and Shock-Headed Peter," so that's his name. Apparently some of the Fabulous Fivers, I love that name, trashed the cruiser, protesting Ernesto's arrest. And they seem to think that the whole South Green picture could turn pretty ugly. What, like it's an oil painting now? Listen, maybe Ernesto thinks he's important, but I don't. If Dwayne and Pete wants to treat him like some special off-limits case, then I'm fine. To me, he's just a delinquent kid who has a wino, has been 50s movie monster. He screws up my turf, he goes down. I like him. Also, this looks like a progressive OMAC creature with the eye and the haircut. Anyway, so she says, "Robin, you're not worried about reprisals? Is that how you say it? From the Fabulous Five? Not gonna happen. Trust me." Right. So we have Shockhead Pete here with Lieutenant C. Colby, he's the Peregrine. And she said, "Journey," that's his name, "Genie, you jerk, how the hell could you do that? And why did you tell anyone sooner?" So, okay, a small recap. He approached some, I believe, underage prostitute, and he let her go because he felt sorry for her. And then she's been killed, and that's there was her headless corpse here in the beginning, right? But yeah, so Pete is feeling really bad about it. He's apologizing, right? And he says, "Well, I thought I'd give her a break. Give her a break, for God's sake! She's on a slab downstairs with her head gone. You knew we were on alert for Libra this month. You knew we were running in all the hookers for their own good." He said, I'm sorry. And this woman says, "Pete, will you just shut up saying sorry? Jesus. Listen, we need to know everything about this girl, right? So, in fact, we needed to know about 6 hours ago." So he says, and also I like it that his, how do you say, ear antennas are down, like he's feeling really, really guilty. It's like a dog that's hanging its ears, right? Well, he's depressed or something. And so he says, "Well, there was one guy, and he said, I found him with a customer. He was handing over the money, so I figured he probably finished business. That's when she told me about her mom." "What? Who was this customer?" So he says, "Well, I believe Andy Airbag Soames." So they are looking up at the computer and they find an address, right? And so Peregrine and Ghost Girl are going to investigate, right? And Pete says, "What about me?" "I don't know, Jenny. What about you? Maybe you and me should talk later when I'm deciding how to write this up. In the meantime, just do your goddamn job, all right?" So Ghost Girl says, "What a jerk. We told him to Dwayne to pull up in all the girls. Maybe he only takes order from guys." It's a misogyny here. And but then somebody says, "This is outrageous. Where's the captain?" So the captain is here, and we see the shark guy before. So this is Fishman, Larry Frenzy, like okay, like Shark Frenzy. Fishman of Medevac, Fishman and Goebbels. She says, I'm here for Martha Wesson. She's basically he's the lawyer, right? Remember, I was here when the KGB brainwasher provoked the suicide of my late client, Professor Gromolko. Anyway, so what I like about this whole thing is that there's so many layers, so many stories around. I mean, I believe the main story is about the killer Libra, but then we have all these things around it that is connected with each other, but also not. And I think it all comes together, right? Because I think, you know, the Saddles girl that's been held in prison here has maybe something to do with this whole thing, maybe not. Or maybe the whole storyline comes together. That's what I mean. I mean, there's so many layers. I love it. Meanwhile, Peregrine and Ghost Girl, she's not called Ghost Girl, but I forgot her name, goes to this very nice-looking neighborhood. And she says, this woman says, yes. Hello, I'm Lieutenant Colby from Neapolis Precinct 10. This is Sergeant Kowalski. Tell us, does any Andy Airbuck Soames live here? Well, yes, I'm Susan Soames. So this guy comes in, he says, Mr. Soames, we're police officers. We'd like to accompany us to the precinct and answer some questions. But I haven't done anything. Mr. Soames, this is concerning a murdered prostitute. So he freaks out. What are you saying? My husband doesn't know anything about prostitutes. Andy, tell him. So he's not feeling okay, and he freaks totally out. And he says, now look what you've done. He's having an attack. An attack? What do you mean? Like asthma? And he's got... Sorry, I'm cracking up. So she says, geez. Jack, for God's sake, get me out of here. I can't breathe. This is your own fault. You had to go upsetting him and triggering his defense mechanism. Oh, Andy, I thought we put all this behind us. He says, I can't move, she says, then radio for help. This is serious. I think I cracked a rib here. So so they're calling the precinct, and we have this operator here, and Dust Devil is here and says, hey, can you go to this particular place and help out? Okay, that's what he's going, right? But then we have also a very mini subplot that is, you know, from the beginning. So this guy's, I believe that's a guy, complaining, and he was flying in the air, and he says, flying over the railway station, maybe 200 feet up, completely alone, and I feel his hand up my butt. Well, mister, oh yeah, it's a female. I'm afraid it sounds like the ghostly goose. And so, yeah, the ghostly goose, whoever he or she is feeling on people. It's so hilarious. So, and remember the dog, with Lee? So he says, and so anyway, she seemed to be buying it. So I told her I was dating a borzoi called Mitsui. Kemlo, my friend, you're an old dog. So he lied. He lied. So he was not dating her at all, right? He just wants to make amends or something that she was off his case. This is so funny. And so and it's this shark guy and has an argument with this whole thing, right? So this is stupid, Captain. We need Alexi to find out what Wesson knows. Sin, I'm afraid Miss Fishman's affidavit seems to be in order. That's right, you Soviet vodka mountain buddy killed one of my clients already. And that's what affidavits to protect Miss Wesson. And then they have more of an argument here, right? And then something happens, some kind of a shock, right? And they go outside and say, hey, what's going on? And then they hear a voice and it says, hey, cops, you listen up. I've come for my boy. No fat chicks. So I believe this is the version of Godzilla. What is this? Beer trucks. Oh, this is so fun. Oh man, I'm laughing so hard. This is great. This is actually really fun. Like I said, so many layers. This is a good comic, man. I'm enjoying it. We're gonna do all of the issues here. Guys, let me know what you think about the top 10 in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done that. I see you on the next video. Bye bye.